Hello, I'm Julia Walsh from Brand Medicine International, and I thought I'd do another update on what Australians are asking about the coronavirus vaccine rollout since my last one just over a week ago. I'm going to share my screen with you and take you through some of the new queries that have come up because it's really interesting to see what has changed, especially since we saw the emergence of the news about the blood clots associated with the AstraZeneca vaccine. So unsurprisingly, there were quite a few questions in relation to that particular vaccine in the mix. So what are Australians asking about the coronavirus vaccine rollout right now? This has come up as a key question: how AstraZeneca vaccine was hit by flawed trials. So this specific question is being asked into search engines. So I wanted to share with you as a start the follow through of the search results that Australians are getting in response to this. I think it's really important to note that this is a very key thing that we need to manage in terms of misinformation fallout and concerns that are going to drive vaccine resistance and vaccine hesitancy. So all of the results coming up here are very much in the vein of either news or journal articles from the Lancet and things like that. So there's no public health messaging coming up in response to this question, even though there is space on the right-hand side where you could put a Google ad. And then I just did follow through on this one because I wanted to show, the kind of articles that people are landing on and the information that they're reading about, talking about manufacturing problems and pressure over clinical trial data, things like that, that are not really going to help support a positive public narrative around the rollout of the most prominent vaccine that's going to be used here in Australia. Following on from that, unsurprisingly, another new question that popped up is the AstraZeneca vaccine safe? So if we follow that through, we can see a great public health notice here coming up as part of the COVID-19 alerts that have been designed and deployed by the public health messaging professionals. Right underneath that, you can see this news response from Austria, where it's saying Austria suspends the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine batch after a death. So that, unfortunately, I think in the eyes of the reader is going to counteract in a very negative way the efforts of the public health response. So I just wanted to share that actually as well. And the other thing is down the bottom, we've got Scott Morrison here saying that AstraZeneca is safe for Australians after reports of blood clots. And I think given the general mood politically in Australia right now, potentially he is not the right spokesperson to be coming out with this message. And someone like Darren Saunders or Norman Swan or some of those healthcare professionals, epidemiologists and people like that might be better people to be placed with these stories if we want to have more credibility around them. The other question people are asking in Australia is, why is the AstraZeneca vaccine not approved in the US? So that is actually something that is on the minds of Australians. We are aware that it's been approved here by the TGA, but we're questioning, why is it not approved in the US? Normally, I think people are quite aware that usually products are approved in the US first. So if you follow this query through and you see the search results, again, there's a lot of news. And knowing that news organizations, while they publish, hopefully most of the time, good investigative journal articles that are very balanced, they are also competing for clicks and engagement. So I just wanted, you can take screenshots there if you want to go through it more slowly. Wanted to show what those results were, and again point out that there was no Google ads popping up on the side there to redirect that query to something that is more balanced and fits a supportive public health narrative around the vaccine rollout. I did click through on one of the articles as well, and you can see here, this is in Business Insider Australia, so it's the Australian version of Business Insider. AstraZeneca may not apply for a US FDA emergency use authorization until the spring because the data from the UK trial was odd and had one pretty serious error in it, a US vaccine expert said. So it is really important to note that this is on the top first page, search results for Australians who are asking why the AstraZeneca vaccine is not approved in the USA. And here there is a highlight on the additional rigor and verification of the safety and efficacy of that vaccine that's been applied in the US market that is potentially going to make Australians wonder, why are we not following the same due process here, given that we don't have a big outbreak? And of course, then the specific question has come up as well in terms of AstraZeneca vaccine blood clots. So people are asking this question. There's a 9 News article that comes up in response to that says there's no evidence of blood clot risk, sorry. And then there's just a lot of news articles. And again, the right-hand side of this page was completely blank. I am heartened to hear that there is a rollout of a Is It True website that's going to be used to help address some of these questions, and I'm hoping that there might be consideration of the placement of that so that it can come up in response to real world questions in real time to divert people from these kind of responses. When I scrolled down this page and I went further, the videos that were coming up, I started to watch some of those, and you know, they're not really helping the story. Again, like, you know, a lot of these places are looking for engagement, not necessarily looking to mitigate sensationalist concerns around the rollout of the vaccine. So these are the kind of visuals that are coming up within those videos that I thought was kind of something that people might want to know about. And then people are asking, are vaccine makers immune from liability? I did like the fact that they were using the word immune in this question, kind of sweet and of course terribly relevant. So some other questions that were coming up, AstraZeneca vaccine training, and particularly they were asking for a training video. So when I see a question like this, to me, it triggers that it is definitely a healthcare professional or an administrative assistant, perhaps within a GP practice, who's kind of trying to get her team or his team ready for rolling out the vaccine. And when I followed this search result through, I didn't see anything from AstraZeneca in terms of a training video. And in fact, there was little here in terms of like your public health things that are popping up at the top. So I followed this particular video through, and what was interesting is that it's nothing to do with any particular vaccine, it's more general. And it's good to see there's a government health response coming up here as well. So you can actually be diverted from that video, which is fantastic because it's general and it's from overseas, through to an Australian Government Department of Health page. But remember, this person is looking for the AstraZeneca training video, and this is where they're being taken. Oh, okay, so maybe over here under COVID vaccines, let's keep looking. I'm just looking for where I'm going to find my training. Okay, there's the vaccination training program. And now we're on that page. And you can see this person is kind of being, you know, the user experience here is not seamless and straightforward. It's quite a lot of clicks. Okay, so they've come to information about what's in the training modules. Okay, so they're here. And they're still kind of looking and figuring it out. Oh, here we go. Here's how to access the COVID-19 vaccination training program in Australia. And I have to log in. Okay, great. Well, at least we know that they get there eventually, so that's good. Let's keep moving on. Some other questions that have come up that are new. Are vaccine adjuvants safe? Why is the vaccine intramuscular? Vaccine versus variant. So I think people are very concerned about the news of the new variants, and I think we've had another outbreak recently with the UK variant, and the person who was infected tested positive within 2 days of exposure. So people are definitely alarmed, and they want to know the, you know, like a kind of matrix of which vaccines work against what variants. Of course, the science can barely keep up with these queries that people have, but it is interesting to see that that's what people are seeking. And then finally, I'm just going to end on this note, like you can always rely on Australians to need a drink at the end of the day. In fact, anything that seems to be taking pain away seems to be pretty popular under this search query. This is a theme of queries around, can you drink alcohol? Can you have it with the AstraZeneca vaccine specifically? And yeah, just I guess doctors have been asked that as well, so they're trying to check. So anyway, that is all for today's update. I'm at brandmedicine.com.au or julia@brandmedicine.com.au if you want to contact me for any queries around search listening services in your, in your category. And I hope you have a really good week. Thank you. Bye.